6.6 seconds left. Draymond Green finds Lucius for the win. He got it. Spartans move on to the Sweet 16. The Michigan State Spartans overcame the Maryland Terrapins in a thriller at the buzzer in the 2010 NCAA men's basketball tournament, an event that made more than $700 million. Basketball is one of the two collegiate sports, along with football, that is considered to be big time, generating massive amounts of money in a billion-dollar industry. However, look further into the popularity and income that these sports produce, further than a glorious buzzer-beating win on the biggest stage of college basketball. While these college athletes who are performing on the big stage go back to their school and try to fend for themselves in affording their basic necessities, while the rest of the nation and audience pays the NCAA hundreds and millions to watch them. What goes on behind the scenes, behind these shining moments? Are these college athletes and young men getting treated justly and fairly compensated for the huge sums of money they produce? Are they being exploited by bigger names, like the authorities of the NCAA, their universities, and their coaches? What if a shadow covered all shining moments in big-time college athletics and their athletes? The National Collegiate Athletic Association was founded in 1906 to protect young people from the dangerous and exploitative athletic practices of the time. But now, the NCAA is the lead organization in controlling college athletics. Basketball and football have always been the two most money-generating sports, and within these sports, the teams who provide the most revenue consist of the Power 5 conference teams, which are Pac-12, Big 10, Big 12, ACC, and SEC. With this revenue, colleges can give annual one-year full-ride scholarships to these athletes, and these full-ride scholarships consist of cost coverage for tuition and fees, room and board, and books and supplies. And this is why the NCAA believes that these college athletes should be compensated for the free education that these athletes get for the benefits that they give to their universities. But for these athletes to get further upgrade in salary, they must be recognized as employees. An employee, by definition, is a person who performs services for another under a contract of hire, subject to the other's control or right of control, and in return for payment. The NCAA states on their website, amateur competition is a bedrock principle of college athletics and the NCAA. Maintaining amateurism is crucial to preserving an academic education in which acquiring a quality education is the first priority. In the collegiate model of sports, the young men and women who perform on the court and field are students first, athletes second. The NCAA believes that these athletes are amateurs, which is why they should not receive payment. But other people who support payment for athletes, such as the Faculty Coalition of College Athletes' Rights and Empowerment, say college sports business practices rob athletes of basic civil rights, should be paid for their labor, work in a safe environment, be protected when injuries occur, and be treated with human dignity. D1 men's college football and basketball players, primarily in the Power 5 conferences, should receive an upgrade in salary beyond their scholarships because they are unable to take advantage of their full free education effectively, and their workload resembles an employee. But they are not just an average employee. They are employees in a multi-billion-dollar company, which is why these athletes are singled out. And they are not officially designated of payment and as employees because of the corrupt system of the NCAA and their universities. Now, these athletes are given a free education as part of their full scholarship, but are they really being educated? They have to deal with a full-time job of their education as well as a full-time job with their athletics. A Pac-12 study reveals that these athletes of only men's basketball and football spend an average of 50 to 60 hours per week on their sport, which is more than a 9-to-5 job. The potential damage to their bodies outweighs what they're getting. We see each year a number of athletes in both these sports suffer season-ending and sometimes career-threatening injuries, which can ultimately affect their life forever, all for free education, like I said, that they can't take advantage. And of this Pac-12 test, 80% of these athletes that were tested said that they missed a class for a game in 2014-15. More than half, 54%, said that they didn't have enough time to study for tests. And 73% said that they felt a voluntary sports activity was considered mandatory, and not attending one of these would possibly lead to their loss of scholarship. Some reported coaches threatened to, quote, kick athletes off the team for missing voluntary activities. And this study also shows that practices can prevent athletes from attending class, as, quote, practices can often run late and athletes are unable to devote enough time to their academics and tests. And these employees who are unable to take advantage of their given compensation also generate a ridiculous amount of revenue, which shows that they are way higher than just amateur status. The Washington Post did a study of 48 different public universities within the Power 5 conferences in a 10-year span, 2004 to 2014. And the general income of all these 48 athletic departments that they received was $2.67 billion in 2004. And in 2014, that almost doubled to $4.49 billion. And from these schools individually, the average of these incomes that these departments received on average was $52.9 million in 2004, and in 2014, $93.1 million. So not only is this a hard, heavy hitting money machine, but it is a growing one as well. Even ESPN is in the midst of a 12-year, $7.3 billion contract, which helps televise the college football playoff and ultimately benefits the Power Fives. But this is just only one of the TV networks that the NCAA is with, such as CBS with other different billion-dollar TV networks, all because of the athletes. But although big-time sports make a lot of money, college athletics has become a competition of money, and the use of overspending has showed their lack of consideration for their players and their ignoring of them getting any payment. Rutgers University is one example of a smaller school trying to be more like the bigger schools and getting as much revenue as they can. In 2004, Rutgers University only earned $18.7 million, but then actually spent $41.7 million. But then in 2014, they actually earned around $40.3 million, but spent $75.7 million. And another team that's a little bit higher in prestige in college football is Auburn University. And the Auburn Tigers in 2004 earned $57.5 million, but spent $85.7 million. And in 2014, they almost doubled with $109 million earnings, but still spent $127.7 million earnings, or only spent $127.7 million. Michael Leeds, a professor of economics at Temple University, shed more light on this topic. Schools quite often move around or spend money to basically get rid of excess revenue, what would be called a profit in a profit-making corporation. That's why you have several NCAA coaches making NFL money despite working for an enterprise that really does not match what the New England and the New York Giants take in. Stats actually confirm that the highest paid public employees in the majority of states are college football coaches and college basketball coaches. And Charles Klopfelter, the author of his book, Big Time Sports in American Universities, also sheds light on this topic and does research on 44 different public universities within the Power 5 conferences in a 26-year span, from 1986 to 2010. And then from the 26-year span, he tried to find the salary increase of 3 different authorities within the school: professors, presidents, and college coaches. And in this 26-year span, professors actually gained a 32% increase in salary. Presidents gained a almost double 90% increase in salary. However, college coaches received a 750% increase in their salaries, which shows that not only are these big-time college sports overspending, but they are doing this intentionally. However, people who would argue against my claim would suggest that instead of fueling this industry of big-time college sports, we should lower these big-time college sports and unprofessionalize them and make them to where it's more focused on education, which actually the NCAA preaches in the first place. However, this would not only affect us, but it would affect the universities as well, because big-time college sports is the biggest marketing arm for universities and is the marketing arm for the NCAA. And not only that, but the NCAA, or the big-time college sports, gives popular and political support to their schools. For popular support, it actually says that if a team was to go to a college football playoff or the NCAA March Madness tournament, that would actually increase a 10 to 15% of student applicants. And for political support, 10 to 30% of people who attend college football games and big-time college sports are actually government officials. And not only would that affect them, but it would affect us as well. There is a reason why these big-time college sports have been one of our nation's top sources of entertainment. And if we were to unprofessionalize these big-time college sports, that would mean less TV coverage, less media coverage, and that would ultimately deflate the college game and not make it as amazing as we watch it almost every single day. And that is already embedded in our hearts. We must make a stand for these athletes and take action now. They are being exploited by the NCAA and not getting the compensation they deserve. They are slaves under the NCAA and are the puppets doing work for others' success and salary. And their simple scholarships does not even match their importance to their universities. The only way for these college athletes to get treated fairly is for them to get an upgrade in salary, which has been discovered is affordable. Not realizing the obvious shows that we are no better than the NCAA. These dark shadows of men's basketball and football players overshadows their shining moments on the court and field, and we must pay college athletes for that shadow to be lifted. Thank you.